The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots. All right, that's the Friday night sound. Got to get this started. All right, everybody. Here we are for another installment of Friday Night Freedom. My name is Kaz. Right up there. Hey, Pookie's back. Say hi, Pookie.
What's up?
Back from a little bit of a hiatus. So he's back. I'm back. We're back. It's Friday the 13th. Is that supposed to be, or supposed to be like all spooky and stuff now, or what?
Scary, spooky.
Yeah, I had a cool graphic, and I thought that it was transparent, and I was gonna parade it across the screen, but it wasn't transparent. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna say that I had it. What's up, everybody? Hello, Stephen Poinky, Dylan Miller, Travis, Branko. What's up, Branko? Gary Branscom's up there. Welcome everybody on all the platforms, the Facebooks, the Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your Friday evening. So glad to be here. Glad you're here, Pookie. You missed a good show last week. We had a little bit of fun with a reinvention of Drink That Tune.
Oh yeah, yeah. That sounds like fun.
It went very, very well. I was very happy. I had a blast. The fans had a blast. We had 2 winners. Spanky was in the chat, and she kind of did really well, like she usually does. And she didn't have a copy of anything. I handed out 1 copy, and that was to Shipwreck, of the songs that I was going to play. But I think Spanky guessed all of them. Most all of them. I mean, maybe she missed 1. But it was great. So we had 2 winners. It went really well. What I did was I played, like, not necessarily the beginnings of songs, but like maybe in the middle I'd play like 2 or 3 seconds. And people had to guess the songs, and everybody did really, really well. It was a lot of fun. So here we are on Friday the 13th. Let me get some housekeeping out of the way. Next Tuesday on Pop Culture Warrior, actor Dominic Burgess will be on Pop Culture Tuesday with CQ and Radar to talk about his recent television series called Dr. Death. Dominic has made appearances on the Santa Clarita Diet, American Horror Story, The Rookie, Queen of the South, and many, many more. He's been in the game for a good while, and he's going to be on Pop Culture Warrior to share his experience and his new series on Netflix called Dr. Death. I heard it's a really, really good series. My mom told me about it, telling me I need to pay attention to it, or I need to watch it.
Dr. Death, like Kevorkian.
That's what I thought when she said Dr. Death, but no, it's about this doctor who was doing surgeries like back surgery and just maiming the shit out of people. And it was like impossible to get rid of him. This is why I don't trust doctors.
There's 2 professions that wear a mask. One's thieves and the other one's doctors. Just pay attention. I'm just telling you.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, it's. I can't believe my mom suggested that, because she just got done with it. She had her other hip replaced. She had one of her hips replaced a couple of years ago, and then this other hip, I don't know, right or left. It was one of those 2. She had that replaced a few weeks ago, and she's doing remarkably well. She's already up and walking around and doing things. Oof. You got that I've got heartburn look on your face, Pookie.
Oh yeah. I ate earlier, so now it's bad to take a nap after you eat.
That's so funny, man. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Brandon. I appreciate it. You're always welcome here. We do have shows. Right now we got a bunch of our staff on leave right now, so we're just doing shows on Tuesdays and Fridays right now. But normally we would have a show Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Mondays the Monday edition. Tuesdays. I was going to say Tied Up Tuesday.
Pop Culture Warrior.
Pop Culture Warrior. Thursdays is Sergeant's Time, and Friday is Friday Night Freedom. All the shows start at 2000 hours Eastern, and maybe when Ice gets back, he can click on his video. You think that'll happen?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I guess we'll see. So what do you say we dive into this, man? Let's talk about some global news. I know you've kind of been out of the mix for a little bit, but
I normally rely on Facebook to get my news, but that's been very unreliable as of late. So
I actually got a strike or something. I posted something.
Ooh, I got a strike the other day too.
It was about Hillary Clinton calling the suicide prevention hotline, saying that she wanted to place an order. Because I think that was when Ghislaine Maxwell got arrested. It was from last year sometime.
I got hit up from last year too. It was that one dude that got shot in the arm by what's his name, Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever his name was, and
in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Place,
yeah,
Yeah, when you play second best in the quick draw competition. Yeah, but yeah, I got banned for that for a good minute.
It was just one of those. We've removed one of your posts because it was insensitive, and it said, and it gave me a whole bunch of suicide is serious. If you're feeling suicidal, and call the suicide hotline, and we're not allowing this kind of post on Facebook.
Just love being censored by a corporation. Just love the idea behind it, but.
I don't get it. It's their product. The thing is, if I got booted off of Facebook, I don't think I would care too much.
I got TikTok now, so it don't matter.
Oh, have you been making videos, or are you just consuming videos?
I've made a couple, but nothing really serious. Someone asks a question, come back at it. Like, hey, just serious stuff. I'm just not really the funny guy. Really, is sit around and be creative with it. And if I was to be funny, people would probably think I'm batshit crazy anyway. So I mean, I don't. Redneck humor doesn't go too far these days, I guess.
It doesn't work in all cultures, and I'm not saying. I'm just saying in any culture, it works. It works with some folks and not for others. Let's just put it that way. It's not that it's bad, and it's kind of like military humor. You can, if you get two veterans together, you kind of have a connection. But if you're cracking these jokes with folks who haven't served or haven't been in law enforcement or something like that, they're just not going to get it, and they're going to think that you're just a sick, twisted individual.
Yeah, or the Karen down the street that gets mad when you joke about things like that.
Yeah. What's up, Corey? How you doing? Thanks for joining.
See, Chuck
Louis Saujon.
Chuck Eder said, "Give us our safety brief so we can get the fuck up out of here."
Oh, come on. I bet you they're having lots of safety briefs right now in Afghanistan.
Dear Lord,
what a mess that is.
I had an auntie that used to tell me a long time ago. He says, the 6 P's to failure, and this is exactly what it is. Piss poor planning produces poor performance. Mm-hmm. And this is exactly what happened. We pulled out way too quick, didn't think things through, and now we're sending troops back.
Well, from the way that I understand it, I was in Iraq. I never got a chance or an opportunity to go to Afghanistan. But the way that I understand it is Trump had a plan, and he was implementing that plan, and he lost the election. And the Biden crew just kind of tossed everything that had Trump's name in it to the wind. But they still went forward with the withdrawal plan. And I don't know. I'm not sitting in those offices, so I really don't know, and I can't be an armchair quarterback. I wouldn't even want to be
10-foot pool distance of anyone in that administration right now, because I bet that is just pure insanity right now at the Pentagon right now, just batshit insanity.
So I mean, we all heard this story, like everyone, we're doing this staged withdrawal. All 1 minute Bagram was a booming metropolis of soldiers. The next morning, it was freaking empty. In the dark at night, everyone just kind of left, and it's just been that just seems shitty, actually. For the next person that comes behind you, to maintain that base, not knowing what the hell's going on. Where are all my friends at?
Kind of did the same in Iraq back.
We kind of had. I was there during the withdrawal, and I was a civilian, so we had to get out. It was just one of those. We were in the DFAC Eaton, and President Obama was on the television saying that he's not going to renew the status of forces agreement with the Iraqi government. And my boss looked at me and he goes, "It's coming. It's coming. Start packing your stuff. When they say it's time to go, it's time to go." So we went back to our little area, and just started kind of slowly putting our things together, getting all of our crap, all of our garbage that we're just not gonna. We didn't care if it stayed or if it left. We just got rid of it, and then we just started, just organizing things to be either destroyed or turned in. All of our vehicles, made sure they were topped off and ready to turn in, and it's everyone got all their stuff together, and like about a week later, man, we were all. I was the team lead, so I had to get my team out, and then it was just me and the site supervisor. Then we kind of walked each other to the damn to the tarmac, got on the airplane, and flew to Kuwait City. It sucked, man. It really sucked. Because everyone went to Kuwait City, and then you had thousands of contractors there going, okay, what's next? Do I go back home? Do I, get another job? Everyone was trying to get in on going to Afghanistan. But I was just happy I was there just short of a year. I didn't take any vacation, so it was a solid year.
Good tax-free year. Yeah.
That was a really good year. That was a really good year. They paid. The thing is, they paid us well, and I was happy with what they paid us. A lot of the other folks that I worked with over there, they're like, this is bullshit. I made twice as much last year, and because they had reduced the salaries for everybody, but it was still damn good. I don't make near that now at all, and this was 10 years ago. I think I made $225,000, almost just short of $225,000 the first that 11 months that I was there.
Not bad. That's not bad at all.
But that's 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. You do the math as far as everything else, man.
And if you want to make money, you got to work for it.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep. So anyway, back to Afghanistan. On the last 24 hours, and I'm sure this story has changed since 2 hours ago when I did a little bit of the research. In the last 24 hours, the country's second and third largest cities, Herat in the west and Kandahar in the south, have fallen to the insurgents, as has the capital of the southern province of Helmand, where American, British, and NATO forces fought some of the bloodiest battles of the conflict. Now, when you read this, you're thinking that there was just this huge battle and, everyone's fighting it. No. The Taliban is just kind of walking in going, we're taking your shit. And they're not getting met with a lot of resistance, from what I understand. The blitz through Taliban's southern heartland means that the insurgents now hold half of Afghanistan's 34 provincial capitals and control more than 2/3 of the country. The Western-backed government in the capital of Kabul still holds a smattering of provinces in the center and east, as well as the northern city of Mazar-e-Sharif. While Kabul is not directly under threat yet, see, that has changed in the last couple of hours. The resurgent Taliban we're battling government forces in Logar province, some 50 miles from the capital. The U.S. military has estimated that Kabul could come under insurgent pressure within 30 days and that the Taliban could overrun the rest of the country within a few months. They have already taken over much of the north and the west of the country. So you look at that map there. Everything red is Taliban. Everything yellow is in contention, and the gray is government controlled. That has a lot of that yellow in the south is red right now, and that's just happening in the last couple of hours. The United Nations, this is, oh my gosh. The meme that came out of this is just deliciously funny. The United Nations chief urged the Taliban to immediately halt the offensive and negotiate in good faith to avert a prolonged civil war. And this is exactly what happened after the Soviets withdrew in 1989. Soviets tried to take it over. They got stymied, and they ended up leaving, and then that entire country was thrown into civil war. Afghanistan used to be a beautiful, it still is a beautiful, beautiful free country. It's not free, however, it is a beautiful country. But I mean, it's like Tehran. Pictures of Tehran back in the 70s was just beautiful. People going to school and shopping, and everything was great. And now there's hijabs everywhere. And so someone we know made this meme. I don't know if you can see it, with the.
I see it. I saw it earlier. I kind of got a chuckle out of it. Like, okay, yeah,
that's just funny. I mean, because what do you think? The Taliban is just going to go, okay, you have 24 hours. Get your shit out.
I don't know. My honest opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Chinese forces in Afghanistan within the next year or two. But I mean, since everyone wants a piece of fucking Afghanistan for some reason.
What do you think about Russia coming back?
No, they learned their lesson on that one. Oh, they learned that's a hard lesson to learn. It took us 20 years to figure that shit out. I think Russia figured it out faster than we did.
I think Russia ran out of. They didn't have the stomach for it to begin with, and then they ran out of money.
That's what's happening to us right now.
Yeah, we just print some more.
Just keep printing it, yeah.
I do remember. I do remember when I was in Iraq. There was a lot of Chinese petroleum engineers there, like legit China, not Chinese people, but like China, the country China. Because we would fly around Kirkuk, and you can see it on the north end, north of the airfield, north of the oil fields. You know, just big, just expanses of Chinese drilling equipment. So
the reason why I say China will be involved over there is because I think I read a while back there's a bunch of rare earth in Afghanistan.
The minerals, dude. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
Rare earth minerals. Oh god, yeah.
And China loves their rare earth minerals, so yeah, if they have a chance to exploit that, they'll do it. They'll go in there and you know what? The way the Chinese are, they'll probably strike a peace deal with the Taliban somehow, and
for money.
And it'll just be boom done at that point. And they'll be all over Afghanistan at that point. Huh?
I think Branko said it best there. If Russia goes back, it's going to be a complete wipeout. They're just going to be there to fuck things up. China would be there to make money.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean,
Justice Robert says, "What does victory even look like over there?"
Was it? I don't know if this is a true story or not, but it goes back to Alexander the Great. He sent like dirt back home to his mother. I think they were corresponding or whatever it is while he was in Afghanistan or something like that. And he said, just sprinkle the dirt around the palace or whatever it is. And within the end of the night, 2 of the guards slew each other. And he says, that's what Afghanistan does to people. It's fucking crazy at that point. That's like literally where militaries go to die. Nations go to die at that point.
I don't have any personal experience over there, but it just seems to me, and it seemed to be the same in Iraq, where your allies over there, the local population that you're trying to save, they're going to be dedicated to you, and they will do whatever you want as long as they get compensated enough for it. As soon as someone offers them a better deal, they're going to go in the other direction. And it might be right before lunch they were your friend, then right after lunch they're your enemy. It happens that fast.
No, never had any problem with the Kurds. That's all I got to say.
Oh no, Kurdistan was awesome. I loved the Kurdistan, the Kurdish people. We would walk around the airfield there, and there would be a local population, farmers mostly, and there would be kids on the other side of the fence, and everybody's waving and just friendly as hell, and passing them candy through the fence, and that was really really nice. I never got to go down. I didn't go into Baghdad. I went into the green zone. I was in the green zone on my way to Kirkuk. But what I thought earlier is I wonder if the United States kind of they weren't giving the Taliban enough opium money.
Oh,
so the Taliban's just like, fuck it, we're taking this place over.
Could have been it too.
So there's my attempt at a sergeant's time type thing, talking about military stuff. Well, let's continue this, and let's talk about some changes that have just come up at Fort Stewart. And this was published by the Army Times on the 11th. Fort Stewart Senior Commander Major General Charles Costanza announced new COVID restrictions. He declared that unvaccinated soldiers stationed here at Fort Stewart, Georgia, may no longer dine indoors off post, or they could face punitive action, according to a new order released by him. Unvaccinated troops are prohibited from more than just indoor dining off post. They're prohibited bars, nightclubs, event venues, movie theaters, amusement parks, tattoo parlors are also off limits to those who have not received the VidVax. lots of pressure to get that vaccine. Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield troops renewed gathering restrictions too. Indoor gatherings of, and this is just crazy, indoor gatherings of 10 or more people, regardless of vaccine status, are highly discouraged. In addition to outdoor social gatherings, including more than 15 unvaccinated people. So before you go to are you gonna say, okay, who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated? Okay, wear this red shirt if you're not vaccinated, and wear this blue shirt if you are vaccinated.
I'm just looking. He's giving his brief, and there's at least 50 people sitting back.
Are they all vaccinated?
And there's that one Karen down at the bottom of the picture. She looks like, what the fuck did you just say?
She does have that look on her, right? But, he's talking about indoor. You can't eat indoor at restaurants. I know a lot of the restaurants here in the Dallas and Fort Worth area, they do offer outdoor dining for people that want to sit outdoors. But who wants to do that when it's 100 freaking degrees outside?
I don't know. Have you ever been to Fort Stewart?
I've been in the area. It's very swampy. It's swampy hot.
There's absolutely nothing around base, anyways. So
Oh, really? Okay.
You get to go eat at the Gold Corral or something like that. I mean, there ain't. I think it's Hinesville or whatever it is, or Huntsville. I can't remember the name of the town that's around it, but I was only there for a couple weeks, and I was like, man, this place sucks. This place blows dogs for quarters.
Hey, Tyrone Lee asked a question because I wonder how Basic is working now with the COVID bullshit. We had what was his name? General Beagle from Fort Jackson. And he came, and there's a podcast on it. If you were really interested in it, look at the podcast with General Beagle, and he gave a top to bottom, front to back breakdown of how the drill instructors are conducting basic training, and it was awesome. It was really, really awesome.
Hinesville. All right, yeah, and people are saying it's depressing. Yes, it is very depressing out there.
I tried. I put in a 4187 for two places. The first one was Fort Bragg. I wanted to go to airborne school. When that came back denied, like 6 months later, I put in a 4187 to go to Hunter Army Airfield. I wanted to be in the 160th. And that never happened because they sent my ass to Korea.
It's not the worst place that you've been. Well, you might have personally been, but the worst place I've personally been in the Army was Polk. Polk was fucking just horrible. So I'm just telling you that right now.
I don't think I was. Let me see. I entered. I went to AIT. I went to basic at Jackson, AIT at Fort Gordon. My first duty station was Fort Hood, but I was at Fort Hood for like 6 months, and I went back to Fort Gordon for 2 ASIs, back to Fort Hood. Then I put in my 4187 for airborne school, got it denied. Right before I got put on orders to Korea, I put in a 4187 to go to Stewart. So I went to Korea anyway, got stop lost in Korea during the first Gulf War. Korea wasn't bad. I really enjoyed Korea. I was at Camp Humphreys. That was an enjoyable tour. I really liked that. From Humphreys, I was on orders to go to Fort Lewis. Stop lost, orders were canceled. When I did get out of Korea, they sent me to Fort Campbell. So I was like, oh shit. So I went and did my time at Fort Campbell, and that was surprisingly good. I had a really good time, made a lot of really good friends at Fort Campbell. Then I ETS'd because I was like, I'm gonna be an aircraft mechanic. I'm gonna work in the civilian sector, and I know everything. So I went to work for DynCorp for probably 2 months, and then everyone got laid off. So I went and I managed 2 restaurants for a period of time and said, this sucks. So I re-enlisted. I called a recruiter and I said, okay, here's my details. What'll it take for me to get back in the service? And he's like, come down and sign the contract. What do you want to do? I'm like, I just bring me back to what I was doing. Okay. So I signed the dotted line. I couldn't sell my car because it was a real piece of shit. So I signed the title. I put the keys on the dashboard. I got in the van that took me down to the MEP station. So someone got a free car out of the deal, and I went and did 3 more years at Fort Hood, and I ETS'd.
The great place.
I never had a problem at Fort Hood. I loved Fort Hood.
Fort Hood was just nothing but pure luck. I mean, the way I look at it is, I survived Iraq, but then I survived Hood somehow. Hood was just nuts. I don't know how I'm still alive. So,
So Rosemary Hayes says my son loved Carson in 4th ID. I've heard a lot of people saying Fort Carson was one of their worst duty stations. I think it's all in what you make it.
I was with 4th ID at Hood when they were down at Hood.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just batshit crazy insanity. Yeah.
They gobbled up my unit, and my unit reflagged under 4th ID right at the same time that I was ETSing, which was really difficult because I had a command that didn't want me and then a command that was leaving, so they didn't care. So I was kind of on my own for probably 3 months before I ETS'd. So I did a lot of drinking and nothing.
Richard Belmore, I got all the respect for you if you're still living out there clean, man. That place crazy.
I go down there to visit Spanky every once in a while, and we haven't traveled, and maybe we ought to do that. Put on our bulletproof or some body armor and strap up and go hit Harker Heights and go hit what the hell is that? The Rancier Boulevard. Isn't that where all the cool cats hang out?
Yeah, Rancier.
See, Fort Eustis. I've heard good things about Fort Eustis, and now Jonathan Dickey's saying no.
I think the best place to go in the Army is Fort Belvoir. It is the best place to be in the Army at that point, because that's big boy Army. That's not that little micromanagement, hey, why don't you shave today bullshit. That's big boy Army. They leave you the fuck alone and you do what you need to do at that point,
So are you basically a civilian doing your thing?
I mean, well, when you're at a headquarters level, people ain't worried about stupid shit at headquarters level. They're worried about hey, well, this shit needs to get fucking done. We need to do it. Who cares if Private Joe Snuffy has an afternoon shadow at that point? This is the way it works up at the headquarters level.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, Lewis. I did about 8 years. It was just short of 9 years, and I was just the thing is, the reason I got out, I would have done 20 easy, but I met a girl. And I wanted to get married, and I didn't want to be married and be in the military. So I got out, and I got married.
You met a girl.
I met a girl. She was a teacher. She was a science teacher, and we ended up, I got out. We moved to Fort Worth. I went to work immediately after ETSing, and we got married. And 17 years later, we got divorced.
Tyrone Lee Jr. says, dude, Rancier, I remember one summer there was a guy shooting at random cars. That's every night on Rancier.
Yeah, well, I was there back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then again in the late 90s. It wasn't bad yet. It was getting bad. It had potential to be horrible, but it hadn't gotten there yet. Sandy's home place was still open, and that was where I hung out. I went to work. And then during my free time, I was out throwing darts or shooting in some pool tournament or something. 20 years now in the military has got to be difficult, especially now we're transitioning from a wartime military to a peacetime military, and you're going to find a lot. Good
idea ferry is going to be floating around all over Garrison at that point. God, I don't even want to.
Well, it's just you got to have these soldiers doing something. So there's going to be a lot of field problems. There's going to be a lot of BS, a lot of crap, a lot of parades, a lot of just crap, and just everything that the peacetime army does. Garrison. I mean, Garrison, the Garrison Army does. But
it's hated Garrison.
Yeah,
I hated it.
I was
you
never
stick me in a field all day long. I'd be happy. But as soon as me in Garrison.
I was never in. Being in aviation, being in a garrison unit, or being in garrison, you go, you maintain your aircraft, and you go home. It was just like a regular job. It was with you add in the bullshit of PT, and then all of the extra things. Going to the range and going to the field every couple of months, and
Hey, PT's the best thing you do all day.
Well, see, I never had an opportunity to be in a wartime military footing. It was just every time there was shit popping. It was like it wasn't us. Stay behind, We had, the first Gulf War. I was in Korea, and then I came back stateside, and then we just had rotations that were going to Kuwait. But it was it was a small rotation. You might have 300 people in your unit, and you might have 10 people that rotate into Kuwait, and that was it. Never had it. I mean, my hand was raised a lot for doing shit, and it just never got picked. So, good luck, bad luck, I don't know. Speaking about bad luck, what's up with Florida now? We got.
It's Florida.
Nah,
you don't even have to ask that question. It's Florida.
They got some storms a coming. The storm is a coming.
Oh, that's typical. It was this August, mid-August. Yeah, the Florida always gets tapped by one or two this time of year.
I'm thinking, what is this tropical? It was like invest something, and then it was tropical storm, and then it's depression, and what is it now? Let me read my notes here. Florida Keys remain under a tropical storm warning as of today. This afternoon, and while Broward and most of Miami-Dade counties are not under a tropical storm watch, a rainy Friday night and Saturday are in the forecast, prompting a flood watch until Sunday. Tropical depression, that's it. Tropical depression Fred is soaking Cuba right now, and it's moving west to pass near or west of the lower Florida Keys on Saturday and approach the Florida Peninsula on Saturday night, tomorrow night. Storm system, which will be named Tropical Storm Grace, is right behind by I don't know, doing like math here, maybe 1,000 miles or so, but it's tracking the same way that Fred is. So Florida's getting ready to get nailed by two storms. So whoever's doing the rain dance in Florida, you can stop. The thing is, it's just, I mean, Florida, it can hit, I guess, would you call that 3? It can hit the East Coast, it can hit the West Coast, the peninsula, or it can hit the Panhandle.
All the models right now are showing a hit in the Panhandle, like going up. But the thing you gotta understand about hurricanes is all the moisture and all the rain and all the wind and tornado crap is on the east side of on a hurricane at that point.
Yeah, because it's gathering all that moisture because it's turning counterclockwise. It's gathering all that moisture and it's throwing it inland.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Like if it moves, there's that one model on there. I don't know, it's like a pinkish color, but it looks like it's going a little bit further to the east. And they're warning us right now to keep an eye out for that, because if it does go further out to the east, we're going to get pelted with all kinds of where I'm at.
Yeah, so you guys, because you're South Carolina.
South Kakalaki.
But if you look at that, I mean, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. That's
just rain come Thursday. There's no question about that.
It's going to be rainy, yeah. I don't have a Barney Rubble voice, Chuck. Every time you mention Fred.
Hey, Fred. I can't even remember. It's been so long.
I don't even know what Barney Rubble sounds like.
It's been so long. Hey, Fred. I can't even get it.
Hey, boo-boo. Isn't that
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear. That's not Fred Flintstone or Barney Rubble.
Oh, dear Lord.
Hurricanes
are coming.
Be safe out there, any of you guys or ladies stationed out in that area, or just you live out in that area. Hey, man, I'm
gonna give you the Florida outcast, and this is how Floridians decide if a hurricane is bad enough to evacuate. I live down there, so I can say but we look at the Waffle House, and if the Waffle House is closing, that means get the fuck out of Dodge at that point.
What would you say if the house is what?
If the Waffle Houses are closing, that means get the fuck out of Dodge.
Oh yeah, they never close.
A bad storm. Yeah, so if they're closed, the Waffle House closing, time to get the hell out, man. Simple as that. That's your first warning that, hey, this storm's going to be bad if Waffle House. Yeah.
I don't know how to transition into this, but every once in a while we talk about cryptocurrency. Now, I don't know much about cryptocurrency. I've thrown some money at it in the hopes of I'm going to wake up one day and it's just going to be like, woohoo!
Be a Bitcoin billionaire, yeah.
So as far as cryptocurrency goes, investing in crypto or choosing what's the best crypto vehicle, in the wonderful worlds of Ruth Langmore from Ozark.
I don't know shit about fuck.
Season 2, episode 10.
I don't know shit about fuck.
I don't know shit about fuck. So please don't take anything that I say as advice, financial advice at all, because
I don't know shit about fuck.
So hackers perpetrated what is likely the biggest theft ever in the world of decentralized finance, stealing about $600 million in cryptocurrency from a protocol known as Poly Network that lets users swap their tokens across multiple blockchains. Now, I do know what that means. So it's like you have a coin, someone else has a coin. You can swap. You can replace what you have with something else. Is that pretty clear? Is that right, Pook? You're the crypto guy.
Pretty much just kind of like the gist of how it works. For I guess a layman term, best way to explain. I don't need to get all technical about it, but
so tens of thousands. And the thing is, this article was written. I've got 2 updates to the story. I printed this today, but I've been accumulating these stories, and since I chose this story to tell, it's been updated 2 more times. So this is written in the mindset of we're going to get this son of a bitch. So bear with me here. Tens of thousands of people are affected by the hack. Poly Network said in a letter posted on Twitter. About $33 million of the stablecoin Tether was a part of the theft, and it has been frozen by Tether's issuer, making it unavailable to the attacker. Security researcher Slow Mist said that it had found the attacker's email, the IP address, device fingerprints, and other identifiable information, and the team reported that on Twitter. It added that, quote, "This is likely to be a long-planned, organized, and prepared attack. Crypto exchanges, including Binance, are also involved with helping Poly Network." So there's an update to that story. In an unusual twist for one of the largest cryptocurrency heists ever, a hacker who stole more than $600 million in tokens from blockchain-based platform Poly Network on Tuesday has sent back a very large majority of the stolen funds after a slew of cryptocurrency experts and businesses pledged to track the hacker's crypto activity on the blockchain, but the hacker's identity and how exactly the funds were stolen remain unknown. A person claiming to be the hacker behind one of the biggest heists of all time says that the theft was done just for fun.
yes, good hacker guy.
So here's an update to the updated update. An update to the updated update, which I like this one. Poly Network, the cryptocurrency platform which lost $600 million in the hack, confirmed Friday that it had offered the hacker $500,000 bug bounty. In a statement, it thanked the hacker, who it dubbed a white hat, which is sector jargon for an ethical hacker who generally aims to expose cyber vulnerabilities. Because he returned the money. The network also said it hopes that, quote unquote, Mr. White Hat would contribute to the blockchain sector's continued development upon accepting the $500,000 reward, which it had offered as a part of negotiations around the return of the digital coins. So
that dude made off with half a mil.
there was a text. I've got the text. I've got screen captures of the text conversation. And it sucks. You can't even read it, but it kind of breaks down to, they're like, hey, why did you do that? And the guy's like, well, because I could. I found a vulnerability. I tried to report the vulnerability. I was called out for it, saying that this guy's just a troll. He goes, all right. So he exercised the vulnerability.
That's what a white hat hacker's supposed to do at that point.
So
that's exactly what he's supposed to do.
He told them, hey, you got a problem here. And they said, no, you don't have a problem here. Yeah, you're just a troll. You're trying to get in trouble, or you're trying to get us in trouble, or to throw some shade towards our product. And these guys like, no, really, there's a problem here. And they said no. So he exposed the vulnerability and got $600 million out of it, but he returned it all. Now he's a $500,000 richer. I'm sure they gave him. I'm sure they gave it to him in crypto. But that's just kind of, it's all fart bucks to me. I mean, you might have Shiba Inu coin, which is what I've got. That's what I've got that, and I've got Doge. Only because I bought Doge because it was the next upcoming thing, and it sucks. I'm down like 50%. But I was looking at the Shiba Inu, and I bought into that, and it's like fraction of a penny. So I don't care. It's super, super cheap, and so I threw some money at it, and if it becomes a very popular, very valuable coin, then I'm going to be doing very, very well. Now, do you have any? I mean, Bitcoin is the big one. Bitcoin is the big one.
I own Bitcoin. I own Litecoin. I own Ethereum. I have stakes in Ethereum too. I've got a huge crypto portfolio actually. But I mean, mine's just kind of like guessing games and paying attention to what their actual blockchains do. That's a big thing you got to pay attention to, like what their blockchains are actually functioning as.
So, like Shiba Inu is what it's Ethereum based.
It might be Ethereum based, but that's like more along the lines of like a meme coin kind of thing. Like the same with Doge or whatever you want to call it.
But when you have a supply of something in the quintillion of coins, then your value is going to be super, super, super low.
Yes, that's the same with when the Fed keeps printing U.S. dollars off without thinking about it. The value of the dollar is going to be nothing here in 20 years.
And right now, I mean, the latest inflation report came out, and it went up another 5 point something percent this last year.
No.
So I looked at it in my daily life. I'm paying a lot more for gas, and that pipeline hack, all that shit is over with. We've recovered from that. There's no reason for gas prices to be that high. It should have gone back to the way it was, which was here in North Texas. We were sitting at around, oh my gosh, $1.80, $1.70 per gallon. And now
we're $1.80 here in South Carolina, so it wasn't too terribly bad. But like it canceled the Keystone Pipeline, the XL Keystone Pipeline, and then turn around and start begging OPEC to pump more gas out so you could lower the gas prices.
I mean, so pre-pipeline hack, we were at let's say $1.80 a gallon here, where I live. The pipeline hack, and then we went up to $2.30, $2.40, $2.50, and then we were around $2.60, and then it hovered there for a while. And just over the last couple of days, when President Biden was telling, he didn't ask. I don't think he asked. He just told OPEC, hey, you guys have to. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he asked OPEC, hey, please increase your production. The price of gas jumped like 25 cents overnight. Yeah, go to LA, you can just steal what you want, right?
Yeah, well, that's not just LA. I think it's San Francisco too. The Bay Area is the same way. I think it's up to like $900 nowadays. You can steal legally without going to jail.
Let's see. Lewis said it's 287 by my house. It's around 287.
Three.
Right now. Is it 3 about, where you are?
It jumps between 3 and like 295 around there, depending on the day or whatever it is. But it's been hovering around that same price for about the last week.
So we're getting ready to hit the end of summer vacation, and I say that in air quotes. Summer vacation is ending. The kids are going back to school. Right. I mean, right now it's return to college week, so all the students are going back to college. The kids start here. They start going back to school next week. I'm thinking we're going to see a drop in gas prices, maybe a little bit after that happens, just because summer's over, people aren't traveling.
I mean, it can't be. I mean, well, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but I mean, during the Obama administration, I think I was pumping $5 a gallon gas at one point in time. So I mean,
I was living at its worst. At its worst, I had just gotten back from Iraq, so this is around 2011, 2012 time frame. It might have been later than that because Obama won re-election, and gas prices were just freaking horrible, dude. I was paying. It was like so much money. It's almost like the grocery stores that I shopped at were giving like extra bonus points that you can use at the pump to bring down the price 10 or 20 cents per gallon.
Oh yeah.
So it was. I want to say it was definitely over 4. I'm not sure if it was over 4.50, but it was mid 4s at its worst for me. Holly says that we've been running out of gas here a lot. It's hit or miss depending on the station you go to. I haven't had any shortages, problems here, but it's just prices, man. The prices, they're not horrible. There's a lot of places in other states that are like California's stupid as far as the gas prices.
Stupid.
Pennsylvania,
Anyways.
Especially the Philadelphia area, is almost
Pennsylvania's got the highest gas tax in the United States, so of course you're going to have the high gas prices.
They got the highest gas tax in the worst,
60s,
the worst roads.
Like 60. Well, they got the highest toll roads in the world too.
They do.
Highest. It's nuts. I grew up in Pennsylvania. Love the place. I would never move back there because this is poorly managed. So poorly managed.
So I work for an aircraft manufacturer, and we partner with Boeing, and we partner with other, like Augusta Aerospace, and we do like co-productions on a lot of stuff. So they were looking for people to move to Philadelphia to work in my company as a liaison, working as a team with these other companies to do stuff. And I'm just like, am I getting a raise for this? And there was like no real there was a COLA increase.
I need COLA.
There was a COLA increase, but it wasn't worth going there and paying the prices for everything. Jim Handy, get a job spraying shit off the street, making $100,000 in Cali. But the thing is, $100,000 a year in California is not going to get you shit.
You'd be living in a tent right along next to the homeless people at that point.
That's
$100,000 a year.
Yeah. So we got a lot of folks coming from California into Texas just paying cash for houses.
Same thing that's happening here. All the people getting pensions up in New York, they get on the pension program up in New York. They flee down south here, and they'll sell their home for whatever the price is up in New York, like $500,000-$600,000. Their little tiny home, and they'll pay for this nice house straight up cash, no more. They won't have a mortgage. And then they're like living on an extra $100,000 down here, living a dream, living on their like extremely good pension for up in New York. And then the prices, everything around here are going up because this shit. It's driving me insane.
I told a story last week about industries that are coming in. I wonder if I could pull that up. And if you guys remember, if you guys were here last week, it's not like it's just people from California coming to these other places buying up houses. It's financial investment firms buying entire blocks of houses and then just turning around and renting them out for that guaranteed income. It's like taking home ownership for the first time home buyer and is taking it completely out of reach. Taking it completely out of reach for people because they're paying, 50-60% more than your asking price just to have the house.
So I knew a guy down in Detroit. Remember when Detroit was having their like massive housing collapse and the property values, everything just like plummeted because Detroit's just pretty much a shithole.
It is. I was living in Toledo at that time and working in Detroit, and you can go and you can buy a house for like $10. But
this dude
the
owned
deal
an
is
entire,
the deal is you had to move the houses. You had to raise the house. The house couldn't be there. You buy that house, you got to pay to have it moved somewhere where it can be planted or just you would basically own.
This dude owned the entire block on one block in Detroit. He was like, he just bought the whole block up. He's like, screw it, whatever, I can afford to do it.
Yeah, that's
how cheap the housing was getting at that point.
I mean, really, I'm not saying nice houses. There's some really bad housing in Detroit, but they're 100-year-old houses and they got really good bones. And man, with if you sink $40,000 or $50,000, into these houses, they just become absolutely beautiful again. Texas is looking like California soon. Montana had that happen a long time ago. They drove the Indians out of the home, out of home ownership. Yes, but the thing is with Montana, they have been so far resisting. A lot of developers would come in, and like the developers that created Vail, they want to do the same thing in Montana, and Montana is just like, no. They're so far they have the leadership in the government to say no.
See, I knew Texas was lost as soon as I started seeing In-N-Outs pop up everywhere. I knew it had stage 4 Californication going on. I knew right then and there. And then you hear Texans say, Whataburger sucks. I like In-N-Out. I just feel like smacking the living shit out of them. You're not a real Texan at that point. But
I like burgers. I mean, I like a good burger. It doesn't matter if it comes from In-N-Out, Whataburger.
But it's blasphemy for coming out of the mouth of a Texan saying, I like In-N-Out over Whataburger. That's
but the thing, but you know what? Whataburger sold out to an investment firm out of Chicago.
Yeah. I know this. Yeah, it's still though. It's a principle thing. You don't give a Southern man unsweet tea, he'll kill you.
Let me see. There have been a couple of restaurants I've gone to where it's like, no, we don't have sweet tea, but we can give you sugar.
I'll fight you.
Oh, so I'm like, okay, give me a Dr. Pepper. I'm fine.
No, I will fight you if you do that. Oh, we got unsweet tea, but I'll give you. Hey, no.
So when I go up to Montana, you can't get sweet tea. I couldn't get sweet tea at the places that we went to eat. It's all like, we have sugar. You can add sugar or sweet and low. Damn it!
No, that's Montana though. That's not even the South. That's
that's Canada. That's Canada, southern Canada.
Yeah. Actually, I saw something interesting the other day. Is the majority of Canadians live farther south than a majority of Americans or something like that?
Well, let's break that down. The majority of Canadians.
The majority of Canadians
live further.
I think the whole population of Canada is something like 25 million, maybe 30 million. But their lowest point in Canada, actually, like if you take it parallel on like a latitude line,
okay,
part of California is in that latitude line. And since most of the population actually lives further south than there's more Americans living farther north than Canadians live at that point. It's fucking crazy.
37.59 million people in Canada,
and a majority of them live in the southern part. Toronto.
Yeah. The thing is, the further north you go, like in Saskatchewan, you're going to be that's the Arctic Circle for all intents and purposes. Unsweet tea is poison. Yes, Mike Eldred.
Yes. You ever watch? Was it Breadstick Ricky on TikTok? It's kind of like a construction TikTok, like kind of funny OSHA, make fun of OSHA kind of thing.
No.
No, they're sitting around and they're just like kind of having like a barbecue kind of thing, and the old guy hands Ricky, like the I guess protagonist of this whole little story thing this guy has made up, hands him some tea, and Ricky takes a sip of it and he starts like gagging, like.
Did he have a spit take? Did he do a spit take?
Yeah. He's gagging. He's like, he's trying to kill me. He's trying to kill me. It's like, what's wrong? And then the guy takes a sip of it. He's like, I don't see nothing wrong with it. And he's like, it's unsweet tea. It's unsweet.
See, my daughter was born and bred in Texas, and she doesn't put sugar in anything. And she'll sit there and drink unsweet tea without anything in it. She won't even squeeze a lemon or a lime in it. She'll just drink unsweet. I'm like, I need to take you to counseling.
I'll drink unsweet hot tea, no problem at all. But if it's iced tea, it better have some sugar in it.
Yeah, if it's tea, I mean, I'm good with light sugar, but it's got to have something in it.
Like coffee, I like my coffee black sometimes, but I also like it with cream and sugar sometimes. So I mean, it just depends on the situation.
I've gotten rid of the sugar. I've kind of canceled the sugar out of my diet. So I got rid of. I've got so much crap here that I just stopped eating. I've got bags of sugar that I used to go through because I used to drink a lot of sweet tea. I've just got bags of sugar left over, and they're hard. They're hard as a brick right now. I completely cut out adding sugar to anything that I eat. So I don't. I've got all kinds of junk food that I don't eat anymore, man. It's just it's just not. I don't know.
I've gotten used to 10 pounds of sugar a month in his house. I think easy.
Wow.
It's mostly me just making sweet tea most of this.
That's one batch.
Kool-Aid. I like my Kool-Aid too, but
I don't know shit about fuck.
But you do know shit about sweet tea. You probably got this perfect, exactly like 1 cup of sugar or 2 cups of sugar per 5 tea bags. Boil it for 5 minutes, or you just let it sit. Like
okay. Boil the water, drop the tea bags in there, wait 5 minutes, move it over, eyeball the sugar. Simple as that. You don't measure the sugar. You just take the bag and you just
by feeling.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do I'll boil the water. If I don't do it in the sun, I'll boil the water, and it'll sit until I forget about it. And then I'll warm it back up again. I'll add the sugar, make sure it's nice and combined, and then that's it. Just kind of add a bunch of ice. I don't add water. I just add ice, and it'll melt over time. Hey, did you watch any? Dude, we're up. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central.
Oh, yeah.
What do you say we take a break? We're going to come back. It's going to be a short break. And then we're going to talk about online scams and who the most susceptible generation is.
I know which one it is.
Place your bets. Place your bets.
I got Sean this.
All right, we're going to be back in just a little bit, and for posterity's sake.
I don't know shit about fuck.
We'll be back in just a few minutes. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a little bit.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
To believe you never threw the shit to me.
WTF Nation Radio.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh wow, we're back on the air again. I'm just sitting here enjoying the music and hanging out and talking to Big Rome and Lewis and it's I lost track of time. I apologize. That was very unprofessional of me. It will probably happen again. I promise. So we're back here for the second half of Friday Night Freedom. My name is Kaz, and that up there is Pookie.
Hey.
And we are WTF Nation Radio, the voice of U.S. Army WTF moments. We do not speak for the Army, but we understand.
We speak for ourselves.
We understand. We understand. So we know about the big green weenie, man. We know all about the big green weenie. The big green weenie will get you. Some of us, not me, yeah, man. Happy Friday the 13th, Big Rome. Thanks for joining. And it's just a lot of us are veterans. Some of us are still active here on staff. So yeah, we're very well versed in the weenie and all of its far-reaching capabilities. So let's talk about scams. So I was talking with Lewis here during the break. Gosh damn it! Hope I got his name right. Yes, Lewis. So when I first saw the story, I'm like, oh, they're going to talk about old people again. Because
No, actually, the scary part about
I know, but the thing
about
is,
it is
every week,
my generation.
every week, I get an email from my mom, or she'll send me a text message. She goes, "Have you heard this?" And she doesn't send everything on Facebook because a lot of that stuff gets like fact checked. And I'm like, Mom, that's false. So it's I'm just, thanks, Mom. I appreciate it, and I don't try to be confrontational with my mom because she's my mom.
You don't argue with Mom.
I don't argue with Mom.
I argue with my mom all the time just because that's the way I am. But I mean, I find it funny to watch her little vein in the side of her head start to.
But when it bursts
when
it bursts, bad things happen. So here it's like the most scammed generation isn't Gen X. It's the younger generation.
The millennials. Every time I see a scam on the local news, it's someone about my age getting scammed over a dog, a cat, the most stupidest things on the planet. Like, you fell for that? Huh? But Common Core goes a long way at that point.
I don't know, man. So being ultra tech savvy apparently isn't enough to protect you from online scams, a new report suggests. The number of individuals aged 20 or younger, members of the Generation Z, who have grown up. Gen Z. Gen Z. It's not X.
Thought it would have been the millennials at that point, but you got me. That even blows my mind. Well, never mind. It doesn't blow my mind.
Nothing surprises you anymore. So it's the entire generation, and this is my daughter's age. They're in their young 20s. They're 22 and 20 is how old they are. So it's the generation that have grown up on smartphones and the internet. They've always had it. Reporting that they are the most victims of cyber fraud, and these cases have surged 156% in the last 3 years. That compares to 112% growth during the same time among people aged 60 or older. They're the second group.
That I can believe. I can believe that, but no.
So it's alarming. The generation that we think is being the savviest with the internet is where the numbers are growing the fastest when it comes to scams. But the thing is, just because you're good at the computers and doing computer things doesn't mean
necessarily good at the computers, or they just knowing how to push that one button on their iPhone.
Or let's just say they're more comfortable using silicon-based intelligence rather than an analog, like opening a book. They would rather Google an answer.
Well, the Vimo, whatever it is a Vimo. I can't remember. Like, you got to be real careful about some of those cash sharing apps, especially if you're like
Venmo?
dealing. Yes, you got to, like, there's no, like with PayPal, at least you get a guarantee. Like, hey, I'm trying to get something here. I'll PayPal you. If you don't get the service, you can put in like, hey, I didn't get, what I paid for, and they'll put in some sort of back order or something like that. You have the potential of getting your money back at that point. But some of these cash apps like Vimo and other things like that, you're screwed. If you hand your money out before you get the product in hand, you are screwed at that point.
Hey, Sin, who is a listener from YouTube, thanks for joining again, man. This guy's like a regular. So he says, are they being scammed out of money or identity? Yes, the answer is yes. And Lewis has a really good point. He says most kids are being coddled during their life, and everything is handed to them, as well as the cell phones, and that makes them more gullible. It comes down to people wanting free shit and not wanting to work for it.
Oh yeah, well, the whole. Remember them ads the pop-ups that used to pop up back in the, I'd say early 2000s. You surfing the web, so get a free iPad or get a free iPod. You knew not to click on that shit.
Or it's like, your computer has been compromised. Click this to download the latest patch. Oh my gosh! I need to keep my computer.
And that's the thing I used to make fun of. You hand a smartphone to a boomer, and it instantly has spyware on it. But but these kids these days don't realize this shit. Like, they see a free this, like, oh, okay, and they're, I don't know. Just
I use Venmo, but it's only to send my daughter cash, and she uses it to send to pay. She pays her rent with it. She gets billed. She has a roommate, and they split the cable bill and the internet bill and stuff. So and they do that kind of thing.
I like to use the is it Zelly?
Yeah, Zelle.
Zelle. That's most of the major banks now use that as their cash trade. I mean, Western Union is pretty much about to go out of business because of that shit.
Yeah. But the thing is, I see a lot of like these check cashing places popping up out of nowhere. It's almost as frequently as a Dollar General.
You just stay away from the cash. All right, younger guys. Here's some.
Don't float a check for some cash.
Yes, don't do that. Stay away from the title loans. Stay the hell away from title loans. They'll hit you with 3,000% interest, so you will lose your car within 2 months. What's another one that was real big popular? While you're in the Army, don't buy a freaking car anywhere near base. You're gonna pay 30-40% interest on that shit. I mean, it's easy to get scammed out of shit. I mean, look at all the damn stupid privates getting married to strippers coming out of the damn basic training and shit. I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
So Larry Whitehead says I put everything on the credit card and then pay it from my bank account. Yeah, don't rent rims. I saw that. You can rent rims. I did not know that was a thing until recently.
Don't rent rims because you'll wind up with your car sitting on cinder blocks in the middle of it.
With only one spare tire. So this age group that we're talking about, the Gen Zs, they're very comfortable being online and very public. They're very comfortable about being very public about their lives. So it makes them very trusting when they're on the internet. They'll trust anything. While the growth in complaints was fastest for the nation's youngest generations, the older Americans are victimized overall. Last year, 105,300 complaints. I'm not saying that 105,000 people. That's how many complaints came in. Complaining about online scams among those that are 60 or older. And they've, which has resulted, check this number out, $966 million in losses. So the most, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. The younger generation, like when my kids were 16 years old, they got their phones, and it made sense to get smartphones. Even when I'm walking around with a Nokia flip phone, and I didn't want a smartphone, they got their iPhones and stuff. And it was a lot to both my daughters danced. They had different schedules, and it was really, really easy to keep track of them. And that's the excuse that I'm using. If I had to do something different, if I had to do it all differently again, everyone would have gotten just if you want to text me, you're going to be punching them buttons. It's not going to be a smartphone.
Back in the day on them little Nokia brick phones, I could text fast as shit on that thing.
And then they give you a QWERTY keyboard, and you're like half the speed. You're like, where's the W?
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever noticed on Facebook, and I tell people this all the time. And I see a lot of like my IT security network guys like blasted and making fun of it through memes and stuff like that. But you'll see these stupid like little text things like copy and paste this and talk about your life and where were you born, what was your first car, what was the name of your first pet, and people
all of the freaking security questions that you get asked.
Yes, and people will reply and post that shit publicly. I'm like, well, thank you for just giving me all of your personal information. Now I have access to pretty much anything that you have access to at this point.
Or you have a damn good chance of answering correctly the security questions. Talk for a second. I think I've got my Nokia phone here. Hold on. Talk.
Oh, yeah. You have your Nokia phone still?
I think so.
No, the old flip phones.
Oh
the
my
gosh.
The little
I
know it's in here.
Razor?
It's either here or it's in a box out. Oh no! Here it is. I got it.
I still got my old little block Nokia phone from back in the day. That thing has lasted. No, there's a meme floating around in there right now. It's an old block Nokia phone stuck in concrete. It says, "Look, a fossil from the MySpacian era." You know, like,
So here's my fucking Nokia phone. I've still got this damn thing. Look at that motherfucker. Bam! You want a text message? Guess what? You got to press the buttons.
oh, that's not even a razor. That's just straight up. Yeah.
This Nokia ATT. I don't even know what model this is.
That's not a razor. I had a Moto razor.
No,
flip phone.
my ex-wife had a razor, and she broke it like within the first couple weeks.
I had my razor. My Nokia lasted me forever. I even used to get mad, just throw the thing, and it would leave dents in the wall and never damage the phone.
I saw a video online. It says it's a hydraulic press versus Nokia phone, and it was a Nokia phone that was up like on its side, and the press came down, and the press just kind of went. I don't know, man. I don't even know what model this is, but this was the last non-smartphone that I owned. I don't know why I have it.
What is
Does
it?
it turn
Samsung?
on? How do you turn these things on?
Samsung has a flip phone now, a flip smartphone now. I don't know if you've seen it.
I know you can go into the phone stores and you can just get a generic ass just a phone. Yeah.
But no, Samsung has one now where it's a flip phone. It looks like the razor where it flips down, whatever it is. But the front, when it's folded down like you've got it now, where you remember where the little LCD panel was on there, where it would show you like you've got messages or someone called or whatever it is. You'll have a LED screen there that will show your time and messages or whatever it is, and then you open it up and it's a full blown smartphone touchscreen. And then it's crazy.
It's cool. It's very cool. So Daniel Howard says, "Hal, I have my pager that I used for telephonic alerts when I was on two-hour recall at Bragg. Save it for the picture. I should say that. What I ought to do is figure out how to charge that damn thing up and then see what's on it." So these scams that these kids are falling for. There's a list of scams. Job scams. Be wary of any job that seems too good to be true. Or ask you to pay money for training. Never provide any personal information without investigating the company thoroughly. I haven't heard of this. Online influencer scams. Excuse me. These involve creating fake social media accounts that mimic the influencer. They hold a contest and then ask the winner to pay a fee or provide their bank account number to get their prize.
That's the one. There was one floating around. It was like The Rock. Some dude looked just like The Rock, and he was like, "I'm giving away free money," and people were all about it because looked just like Dwayne Johnson. And
have fun, Jim.
They were scamming the shit out of people. I found a boner in the sweatpants. Okay.
Online shopping scams. This fraud arises when a website is created to look just as legitimate as the real online store, and they're selling items at a huge discount. I've seen those, and I'm like, and I always keep that in the back of my mind. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Romance scams. These fraudsters end up winning a person's heart, and then they try to get the victim's money as well.
That's a big one. I saw Dr. Phil did a whole series where this guy he was an older gentleman, but he sent close to $500,000 to this woman that didn't even exist. It was some dude.
Okay, hold on. I got to pause here for a second because I got to check out Daniel Howard's profile because he said that I won. He said you won. Check out my profile. But yeah, the rock guy. I remember seeing that. And yes, a lot of these scams are common sense.
They don't teach critical thinking skills in school no more. That's the thing.
I always get to my kids and I'm just like, when I see something coming around, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I text my kids or I send them a message or whatever. I'm like, hey, don't fall for this. And they're very well versed in not giving their personal information, and they know how important it is to keep that, close to their vest. It doesn't stop me from telling them, and I'm sure it pisses them off, or they're just like, "Come on, Dad, we're not that stupid."
We were technically raised by a generation of people that did not trust anyone. So don't trust that person. Don't trust this person.
So,
don't trust. Okay. Cool.
So we talk about kids and stuff. So kids say the darndest things, and they're slang. They use a lot of slang and stuff, right? Okay, so that is a grumble of dissatisfaction. So outdated slang, and there was this really short list: cool, rad, groovy, gnarly, right on, dope, sick. That's sick. Dig it. That's whack. Ahoy. I've never used ahoy. Stefan does. We have a listener down in Florida that says ahoy. Every time he comes into the chat rooms, he, oh my gosh, Sin's asking, you watch Dr. Phil?
Yeah, I do live with my grandfather who's in his like mid 70s, so we watch a lot of Weather Channel and shit. So I mean, the beauty of being semi-retired at this point.
At least it's not like the Home Shopping Network.
Exactly.
That's another scam. I think that whole fucking network is a scam.
South Park did a whole thing about the whole jewelry thing.
Oh my gosh. Government is dipping their cookie-covered hands in the education system along with these politicians. Yes. I think there's some coercion there. Some collusion. So let's talk about the slang word ahoy. Fun fact, in the Czech Republic, the most commonly used word for hello when answering the phone is AHOJ, which is pronounced ahoy. Okay, some more slang terms. Dude, wicked, yo, bitch, the bomb, and awesome. And then there's mom's favorite on fleek. Something is looking smashing. So it's on fleek.
That came up a couple years ago. It just disappeared real quick.
It did. It caught on, and then it didn't catch on.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, slang is different from where you live at in the United States. So that's a subjective thing at this point. I thought you were talking about slang like what these new kids be using for slang. Like, I don't understand. I hold them standing there pointing at their arm. I don't understand what the heck that means, but maybe I'm just
What does it mean?
I don't know. I have no idea what it means. He'll just stand there and point at the arm, looking stupid. Like, okay, what's that supposed to mean?
Bruh.
But
bruh. So while I was looking up these old slang terms, I ran across a list, and it was like slang for the word marijuana. So we've got pot, reefer, dope, and so forth. But here are some others.
Baphomet's lettuce. Baphomet's broccoli. That's it.
I thought these were pretty damn good. The devil's lettuce. I thought that was pretty good. Jazz cigarettes. Along with left-handed cigarettes. Galactic broccoli. Right? And my favorite, savage cabbage.
Savage cabbage. Yeah, Baphomet's broccoli is one that I heard it called before, and I kind of giggled a little bit because it's just kind of based off of the whole devil's lettuce.
Endo. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't realize how much slang I use until I read this article. I'm like, oh my gosh. I use like, hey, that's cool, or that's badass. Yeah, Lewis, savage cabbage is pretty funny, huh? Mud bud?
It's a term for some alley weed, but that's old school, I guess.
Skunk weed?
Yeah,
Indiana ditchweed?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anybody else have any good hell? I'd be
flour. I heard a lot of people call it flour now.
Yeah, when we had the green room here, they would call it flour. bud.
I mean, flower kind of puts it into like you're smoking the actual plant at that point, where like you've got your, what is it? Your dabs. I'm sounding like an idiot right now because I'm like Four Logos in at this point. Kush is something different.
I don't know. I
Keef,
have no idea.
You got Keef. You got all kinds of
Keef is
things,
actually a word in Words with Friends. So
yes, Keef, yeah.
Rory says he hears fire a lot. Devil's lettuce.
That white girl.
White girl.
It's cocaine.
Dude, I watched, on Netflix, there is a really good, it's a 6-part series. It's called Cocaine Cowboys on Netflix. And it talks about these two friends, high school friends. They're both high school dropouts. They, like sold weed during high school. And then because of attrition and people getting killed and just getting out of the business, they rose up in the cocaine business in Miami. And this is way back in the 70s. Oh my gosh, what an interesting historical they just fell into the right place at the right time. These guys had billions and billions of dollars.
Like that Blow or whatever, the movie with Johnny Depp in it.
Well that was about bringing stuff in. These guys were the people bringing stuff in. So they were making all the money because they were airplane pilots and they were boat drivers, and they just had all of the inner workings. They had the entire network was all them and their friends, and they just made billions and billions of dollars. They were brought, charges were levied. They were brought into court. They bought the fucking jury. It's
legit.
They bought the jury. They ended up, and when the story was being told, it was like Al Capone. Al Capone didn't go to jail because he murdered all these people and was a racketeer and all this other stuff. He went to jail for tax evasion.
Taxation is theft.
He did his time, and he got out and he died. But these guys they got out on such weird technicalities. Like by the time their shit went to court, it was past the statute of limitations, and it's just, the jury decided, okay, innocent on like murder charges and shit like that. Just completely like, no. It was just a booger sugar, Colombian bam bam. Oh God.
Bolivian marching powder.
I've heard that before. Sin says, funny story. My neighbor's kid got high. I kept looking for a skunk in my front yard. I never found the skunk, but I caught the kid.
Stanky ass weed, man. You should smell like skunk piss.
It was funny when we went to as a station. We went to Denver. Denver, of course, is a.
Oh, I missed out on that. That's a little bit before my time. Before I joined up with the station at this point.
But you could. I mean, they were smoking that shit in the apartment that we had rented, and it was just not inside, but it was on the porch. But you could smell it. It was like woof. I don't partake. It's just not something that I do. I don't like it. So. But I know what it smells like. I've done it before, but it's just it's not a me thing.
I only like the edibles. Anything other than that.
I've done the edibles. I don't like the way that it. I mean, maybe I haven't had the right one because it just makes my blood pressure just go through the roof.
Oh, that's weird.
I didn't like it at all, and that was an indica.
Edibles make me just melt in my chair and play video games. So
get creative and stuff.
Exactly.
So we have this eviction
moratorium.
Moratorium.
I don't know.
There was a landlord in Las Vegas that had the fuck enough, and he said, okay. Sin says, I don't understand how anyone can smoke stinky stuff like stinky cigars. I used to be a smoker. I used to smoke cigarettes, and I didn't realize how badly it smelled until after I quit, and how badly it smells until I was around people who still smoked. So I guess, it's something you get used to. Would you agree?
Yeah, like when I quit smoking, I swear every time someone lit a cigarette up a million miles away, I could smell it, and I was
I can
just like,
smell it in my car. I've got a new car. It's not new. It's new to me, but it's only a year old. Oh, well, it's a year. I've had it a year, so it's 2 years old. But I can, like, when I'm sitting in traffic, I can smell with my windows rolled up. I can smell when someone is smoking with their windows rolled down. It's crazy. People that I work with, not a whole lot of people that I work with smoke. Some of the older folks do. The younger folks don't. A lot of the younger folks, especially the veterans, they'll dip, and I can smell that shit, like because they spit in the trash cans and whatnot. But I can smell. I can smell that
disgusting.
shit.
If you're gonna at least spit into something, do it in a spit bottle or something like that. Yeah. That's just fucking gross.
So Omar Al-Sukari says there's a slang we used between us to smoke someone. It's snitch snake. Snitch snake? That's hard to say.
I've heard it called that before.
So anyway, we're talking about it, like the guy decided to evict people his way is what it is. See, that's number 8. Let's go to this dude. A Las Vegas homeowner is in hot water after he handled an eviction, and this is his words, his way. Arnaldo Lozano Sanchez made statements about the victims not paying rent and that he was certainly upset about it. This is a horribly written article, so I'm going to try to power through it. Witnesses said that Lozano Sanchez went into a bedroom in this house. The female tenant was there. She was pleading for her life. Multiple gunshots were heard, and the accused exited the bedroom smiling. There was also a man inside who was shot 9 times. He emerged from the building, and he was running for his life. Lozano Sanchez was arrested earlier Tuesday at his small pink home after police found a woman dead outside, the man who had been shot 9 times running from the door, and a woman who was dead in the bedroom. The judge ordered the 78-year-old Lozano Sanchez remain jailed without bail on murder and attempted murder charges pending other court appearances next Monday, which is this Monday. The dude, I mean, they weren't paying rent, and he couldn't get him out. So he had enough.
Just shot him.
He's 78 years old. It's like, yeah, well, I'm not saying what he did was right, but I'm sure that he reached a point, and he's just like, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck anymore.
I'm 80 years old. Why the fuck do I give a shit about this anymore? That's why I tell people, don't fuck with old people like that, man. Just leave them the hell alone. If they're feeling certain, just leave them alone, because all it takes is them that one straw to break that camel's back, and they just say fuck it, and they start shooting motherfuckers at that point. They don't care. They're gonna die in a couple years anyway, so what's it matter at that point, huh?
78 years old. The guy's, I mean, in his mind, he might just say, fuck it, I've had a good life. So anyway, I started blasting. He killed a woman, shot another dude 9 times, and then shot another fella. That's savage, man. That's really savage. So talking about death. Let's say when you pass, when you go on to greener pastures, how would you like to be taken care of? Do you want to be buried, cremated, a Viking funeral? What's your thing?
I want the Viking funeral. I want launched out on a boat. I want that motherfucker set on fire with all my possessions. You know, I'm taking that shit to the afterlife with me, motherfucker.
Take that shit to the afterlife. Yep. So I'm I was raised in a Catholic family, so it's always like, someone dies, you get buried. You get buried, right? My mom died when I was very, very young. She has a burial plot up in Wisconsin. Whenever I go up there to visit my parents, I'd go and visit my mom. My real mom. There's a thing, and it is a thing. This isn't just pablum. This isn't just talking shit, man. Let's talk about human composting. California lawmakers are considering legislation that would allow for human composting or the natural organic reduction of human remains to soil. They're not the first state to do this. Washington State legalized organic reduction earlier. Colorado has enacted similar legislation, restricting the soil from being used to grow crops that people will eat. No, that's just a sentence there. Oregon, Delaware, Hawaii, Vermont are also considering natural organic reduction bills. And this is like, you're occupying real estate to bury people in caskets that can be used for other things. So I'm seeing a lot of comments here. A lot of people want cremation. I don't know. I always thought, and I've always said, okay, I'm going to die. I'm going to be buried in a veteran cemetery in Dallas.
You know the best way I think going out is with I think it's Tibetan monks, like the hardcore Tibetan monks. They'll have their body hacked up and thrown out into in the middle of nowhere for the buzzards to eat. It's like their last good deed for, I guess, the circle of life. I'm feeding another animal. My body's useless at this point. My spirit's moved on or whatever it is. So I'm going to use this vessel to feed the circle of life, pretty much. I guess it's the same concept at this point. Do I want to be chopped up to compost? No. Should be people getting chopped up to compost? I'm not so sure about that, because that's how we have Soylent Green shit that kick off. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Soylent Green,
Yes.
But it's people.
It's people. So Holly says, take whatever is needed off of my body, put me in a tree pod. Eventually I will fall on some asshole. No, I've seen the ads, and I didn't know how much truth there was to that about being composted as a dead human and then becoming a tree later. That seems kind of badass. This is kind of equally as badass, I think. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm still thinking about it, but it makes a lot of sense. A company called Recompose, a Seattle-based company, is the first company in the United States to get into the human composting business. The natural organic reduction allows a literal person to return to the earth, says Anna Swanson, the outreach manager for Recompose. Some people like the idea of being in a forest when they die, so they can. The process involves, and the process is what gets me. The process involves placing remains in an enclosure and using warm air and organic materials such as wood chips, alfalfa, and straw, which allow for microbes and microorganisms to aid in the transformation. Bodies are placed in an 8-foot-long steel cylinder in a frame. Non-organic materials such as metal fillings, pacemakers, artificial joints are then removed. Over the course of about 30 days, the body, even bones and teeth, break down into soil, creating about 1 cubic yard of soil. It's about enough to. It's about enough to fill 2 wheelbarrows.
Don't see nothing wrong with that.
So I asked the question, and then I got kicked out of the group. I said, "What do you do with 2 wheelbarrows full of Grandpa?" I never got an answer for my question because I got booted out of the. And that's, Lewis, and that was the push behind this, is because it's better for the environment. Because to cremate somebody, you're going to consume a lot of fossil fuels to burn that into ash. But to compost, nature's doing its thing and it's breaking you down. But what do you do? So here's my mom. My mom's got 2 artificial hips. She's got a mouthful of metal, with fillings and stuff. So she dies. What do I get? A bag of soil with whatever her hardware is in her hips. Do I get that back? Do we get that back? When I die, I've got some old school fillings, right? The amalgam fillings. I've got a bunch of steel plates and screws in my arm. Does my family get that? Does it get tossed away? Do they recycle that? I don't know. But I know, and it seems to me that human composting thing, while it seems to the traditional person abhorrent,
it makes more sense to me if you think about it.
It makes a lot of sense when you put it this way. It makes sense. And what do you do?
I mean, is it better than like going? I mean, I understand like Arlington Cemetery where you honor specific like heroes, I guess if you'd say, and people who have influence. But I don't know, not to say this average day Joe Schmo doesn't deserve something like that if he can afford to do it. But on the environmental level, you drive by how many graveyards and they're just stones.
Fucking Xavier Martinez, man. He wins the night. Discount fake hip store. You recycle the hips. I don't know. That's great.
Like what was it? Dude had his hip removed. He got a hip replacement, but he told the doctor he wanted his hip, his femur, whatever the socket of the femur is. He said, "I want that." He says, "I want it. Don't throw it out. I want to keep it." He made a cane out of it. And I think that's the most badass shit on the planet. And walking around with your own hip as a cane.
You're walking around with yourself. It's still being put to use.
I think that's the most badass shit I've seen.
That is pretty badass. So I'm more open-minded towards human composting. I think that would be only one previous owner, Xavier, fucking doubles down on that shit. That's awesome.
No, that makes sense. I mean, imagine we're like, say, let's say 100 years from now, we're like on Mars, we're trying to terraform it. Are we going to bury people in the ground, or are we going to compost them and use them for the terraforming process?
They would probably be very fertile composting material.
Yes, exactly. At that point, it's just like, hey, we need the terraform. We're going to use your remains. Thank you for helping terraform Mars.
That would probably be on the disclosure statement. If you die, when you die, this is what's going to happen to your body. I'm down for that.
Plus, of course, you need some sort of scientific, studies, kind of cadaver kind of thing, which that makes sense. I mean, actually, I think that's the best way to do with your body at that point. Just be like, hey, donate to the science. You might save lives down the road.
We can yeet them back into space.
Yeet.
Yeet.
Who's it?
That's another one of those slang terms. Yeet.
Yeet, y'all. Yeet, yeet. Trick or treat. Skeet, skeet. Trick or treat. No, that's what was his name? Guy who played Scotty in the original Star Trek.
Okay.
Didn't they launch his ashes into space?
Yeah. They yeeted his ass back into space.
That's the best place to be at that point.
I don't know where he's going. Huge tank to turn humans into slurry uses. Thanks, Ropey. I think we did talk about Soylent Green.
So Soylent Green, but that just reminded me. Do you remember that movie with the robot, Disney Pixar movie, WALL-E?
Mm-hmm.
WALL-E. All them fat people flying around in space, and they were just slurping, but did you notice there was no old people and there's very few children?
They're eating the children.
They were eating the children and the old people in their Slurpees. Mm-hmm.
Oof. I don't know. Everyone thinks that there's like this overpopulation problem. I don't know, man. Have you ever flown? Have you ever flown across America? I mean, I know you don't fly, but when you fly across,
no.
There's all kinds.
I mean, if you've driven across anywhere in the Midwest, like Wyoming, I think has a population of 500,000 people. So you could literally you could just drive for 10, 15, 20 miles and never bump into a person. No, Elon Musk is one of the few big multi-billionaire people that doesn't preach overpopulation. He says we're reaching an underpopulation problem is what he believes. So we're not producing enough people. So, I mean,
I don't think we're producing enough useful people.
For the things that are going to be coming here in the next, 1,000 years, I mean, you're going to need people to go to Mars and stuff like that. So I think that's what he's thinking.
I'm down with that. I think I would agree with that. You need more useful people. Well, but what do you do? I mean, because there's the gentrification of old people. They just need to die. Oh, okay. Is there a cutoff for that? What is your? And I'm sure there's movies. I know there's movies. I can't think of them now. Is you reach a certain age, and you voluntarily go, and you're dead. I don't agree with that. There's a lot of shows where, like, at a certain age, you just die. Like at 18 you die, or at 22 you die. I forget what these damn shows.
They did a movie about that. I think it had Justin Timberlake or someone in it, where it was like they had like this weird clock on her arm.
Yeah. I saw that. I can't remember what the name of it was.
Yeah, but like all the poor people were just like croaking and dying early on, and all the old people were just living forever.
Well, his time was counting down, but he could get time from other people.
Logan's Run, that's another one.
Yeah, Logan's Run is good. Is it called Time, Lewis?
Might be Time. Actually, well, I think the name of it was Time. Yeah, like everyone was born with like exactly the second they turned 26, they had 1 year left, or something along the lines.
And it
of
would
that.
count down, but you could get paid in time. Like, I'm going to do something for you, pay me in time. Yeah, that was a good one.
Logan's Run had me all messed up. First time I watched it, I was like, huh.
That's on Netflix. You can actually watch it with Robert Redford? Not Robert Redford. I can't think of the name because my memory sucks. So let's talk about pets. Are you on Tinder at all? Dating apps or anything like that?
Oh, my local news station was talking about this earlier today. Yeah.
You know what I haven't, dude, this is crazy because I haven't shared anything with you. I haven't given you my cut sheet or nothing like that. I think you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know exactly. No, because see, I'm getting old, so I like to wake up and watch the 5 o'clock news before I sit and watch the Weather Channel for about 2 hours. But no, it's just Tinder and pet adoption. This is where you're going with this, right?
Exactly.
All right.
So, and I know this. I know I've seen this before. I know I've seen it, but this story comes from Germany. A German animal shelter is trying a new approach, and we're not going to look at this human composting thing. We're going to talk about Fluffy and whatnot. German animal shelter is trying a new approach to find homes for abandoned pets. I know I've seen this in the United States before. It's posting their profiles on a dating app called Tinder in the hope that lonely humans looking for love might also be settling for the company of a cat or a dog.
Ginger's such a cute dog. I love the tongue hanging out.
I know.
That derpy ass tongue. I love dogs that do that derpy ass shit. I love it.
Munich Animal Welfare Association got its advertising agency to shoot professional pictures of 15 animals, including a black and white cat called Captain Kirk, and put it up on Tinder. Jillian Moss from the animal shelter said several people had swiped right on Tinder to set up their first quote-unquote date. The response was insane, and it's exploding everywhere. After coronavirus lockdowns led to a surge in pet ownership, animal welfare experts have warned that many animals might be also abandoned as the pandemic wanes. And that's happened in New York. In New York, they had a lot of pet surrenders once the restrictions and stuff were lifted. A lot of people are turning their dogs and cats back in, which is fucked up to me. I don't like that. I really don't like the owner surrender thing, but I would prefer the owner surrender of a pet as opposed to driving down a country road and dumping them off on the side.
Dumping them off. No, you see that all the time where I used to grow up. You just random dogs running. You just be like, hey, dog, come chill with me. My grandfather was notorious for that because every time you come out the house, be a new dog running around. I'm like, where'd you get that? Oh, I just found it.
But yeah, I know I've seen a Tinder type thing for pets.
No. I mean, me even a couple of years back, maybe I was flipping through and a couple adoption agencies, the pet adoption agencies were trying this a couple years back on Tinder. You flip it through, you catch a profile, be like, hey, look at me, I'm a cute little kitty cat, adopt me. No, but because Tinder's just about hooking up and not about finding pets. But that's just my opinion on it, I guess.
Well, they're looking for a hookup. So I did a Google search because that's what people do, right? You want to find answers, you just Google it. I said Tinder for pets, and then there's 3 versions of the story that I just told. A perfect match, Purr. A perfect match. Tinder for pets, swipe right. There's gotta be something here for pet dating apps. Tinder for dog breeders. I know there's something.
It's called there's Pet Finder. I mean, it's been around forever. You can find
Omar, thank you very much. He says it's 04:55. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning in Iraq. Nice to meet you guys. Be safe. I get to sleep I got to sleep for a couple of hours. Stay frosty.
Stay frosty.
Stay frosty yourself, Omar. Thank you very much for being here.
Especially in the desert, stay frosty.
Yeah, we're let me see. We're about at the you get the heat of the day about 125, depending on where you're at. Ugh. Dumping animals is one of the cruelest. Yes. Dude, imagine you have a dog, they're used to you, you're taking care of them, and then you take them out to the country and dump them on the side of the road. They're chasing your car down the road, saying, "Hey, dude, you forgot me. Who's going to take care of me?" They don't know how to take care of themselves.
We as human beings don't deserve dogs.
No,
I
we
really
don't.
do believe this. Like everyone wonders why you're trying to you're trying to take a shit and your dog's watching over you. This is what dogs do in the wild. They guard each other while they're vulnerable.
They're we don't. What's next? What are we doing next? I want to be with you.
Yeah. So that's why they stare at you while they're taking a crap out in the yard. Everyone can't figure it out. They're staring at you to make sure you're watching them.
The eye contact that a dog has with you, and you get the serotonin, and they get the serotonin, and you're just bonding, and you're in the zone with them. And then you're going to turn around and just fuck them off like that. That's just
there's just some people in the world just blow my mind. Like there's been times where I've had to give up good dogs, but I've never left them like that. And I always
Same
found
here.
someone to be like, "Hey," I was like, "I can't take care. I know you'll take good care of this dog. Please take good care of this dog." And they do, But it's just like dropping them out in the middle of the woods. You wouldn't do that to a child.
That's fucked up. It is fucked up.
You wouldn't do it to a child. You wouldn't do that to a fucking child. Or even a regular, even the new Gen Zs. You drop them out in the middle of the woods, it'd be like kind of the equivalent of that. But dog has more of a chance of surviving.
As you drive away, they're like, "Hey, we don't have Wi-Fi."
Exactly.
I love dogs, and I would adopt every single dog that ever came across. If I ever found a stray, dude, I feed crows in my backyard. I love animals, like all of them.
Be careful about feeding birds. There's this weird disease going around with mostly on the East Coast. I don't know if it's made it down that way towards you, but it's affecting songbirds. So they're warning people not to put food out for the birds and stuff like that.
I've gotten that warning, and every month, every feeder that I have, it gets emptied, it gets cleaned, and then I'll refill it and then put it back out there.
What bird bath gets cleaned out at least twice a day. So,
yeah, these damn birds are just they're cool. They're just cool. Crows are hierarchical. The most senior bird will eat first, and then on down the line, and then the most dependent birds are just all like, "Meh, meh, feed me," and then the big bird will feed the smaller bird. It's really cool to watch this stuff.
Kind of like blue jays are kind of the same way.
Blue jays are dicks. Blue jays are dicks.
I got a whole flock of them that come by here, and they're pretty cool. And one
they're
morning,
okay, they're not dicks. They're very territorial.
From what I've seen, they're not super territorial against the other birds. But one morning, I heard they throw this weird signal out, kind of like crows do when there's something in the area, And I was I walked outside. I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And there's this snake rolling through my yard, and like
Oh,
every
so they-
bird,
yeah.
it wasn't even just the blue jays. There was like, I had my I got red bellied woodpeckers coming at. They were all on top of the snake, like just screaming at the top of their lungs. I was like, I'd never seen anything like that in my entire life. Like it's like every bird in the neighborhood was sitting over the snake going, snake, 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 look out, snake.
Omar says, I forgot something about dogs. 90% of humans don't deserve these adorable creatures. They kill them, they hurt them, and tutorial and for no good reason, just to have peace. Yes, yeah, they're psychopathic.
Dogs are man's best friend, and people treat them like shit sometimes.
Dude, when we were in Iraq, we had a couple of dogs. They were all females. And they would come around, and they were nursing, so they had pups somewhere. We would feed them peanut butter and crackers, and then food, and then soon we would earn their trust, and they would come in and let us touch them, and they just became they came around us, and they got food, they got treated well, so they took care of us. So they kind of they never stayed with us, they never curled up and went to sleep with us, but in the middle of the night, if something was happening somewhere that shouldn't have been, they were up there barking, kind of, warning somebody, warning us of, hey, there's something that is here that shouldn't be here. And it was cool. It was just cool. It was just, dogs are awesome. I think dogs are the best. I don't have anything personal against cats, only that I'm allergic to them. So I can't be around cats.
Cats are just assholes.
Yeah. They're very independent.
I mean, I don't mind them when they're just like barn cats and they chill out, and every now and then they pop up and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Let give them a treat, and they just leave you alone at that point. And then, every now and then they bring a sacrifice up to your front porch, like a headless
Here's a bird, love me.
Yeah. Don't mind that at that point, but when they're inside of their house, in your house, I don't like indoor cats at all. I hate them.
Okay, let's transition off of this dog thing. I want to get to the State Fair of Texas. Have you been to the State Fair of Texas?
No. I've been to the Houston Rodeo, but I've never been to the State Fair of Texas.
I've lived here since '96, and I've never been to the State Fair of Texas, only because it's a big ass. It seems to me, in my mind, it's just a big ass carnival, and there's a fuck ton of people, and it's just not worth it's not worth the hassle. It's not because I'm afraid of crowds. I just don't like waiting for dumbasses. I just don't like waiting in traffic. I don't want to, even when if I would take the train into Dallas, into Fair Park, I don't want to deal with these fucking idiots. And they're bringing their kids. I love kids. I do love kids. But damn,
tell me the Army has hurt you without telling me the Army has hurt you.
Right. So here we got the State Fair of Texas coming up, and it's a great thing. The State Fair of Texas is awesome, and the best part of the State Fair of Texas, number one is the artwork is really, really awesome, and number two is the food. The food is one of the best attractions of the State Fair of Texas.
Why?
Why
go to a carnival other than the food?
Ropey calls it the COVID carnival, and it might be. I don't know, but down here in Texas, we're kind of doing things the freedom way. Everyone has all the information that they need to stay safe. Wear a mask if you want to. If you don't want to wear a mask, that's fine too. Just do your thing. You have the information needed to make an informed decision.
Oh, we do in South Carolina too, and everyone's giving us crap about it. But
yeah. So the return of the State Fair of Texas this year also means visitors will get to try some unique fried foods. It's all a part of the fun at Big Tech's Choice Awards, which has been happening this last week. The fair doesn't kick off until the end of next month. So the fair announced 10 finalists for 2021 just the other day. On the savory side, there's crispy crazy corn, deep fried I-35, deep fried seafood gumbo balls, lucky duck dumplings, and pork shots. The finalists for the sweet category are the armadillo, brisket brittle, deep fried Halloween coffee crunch cake, and Texas pumpkin poke cake. So I've got 3 of these. I'm going to show you pictures. These pictures are pretty horrible, but bear with me. Bear with me. So there's crispy, crazy corn. Individually battered and deep fried corn with seasoning. So it's, I guess underneath all that shit is corn.
Pretty much like elotes, but deep fried. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's deep fried elote. Okay, deep fried I-35. I was really curious to this because I-35 is consistently like under construction and whatnot. But it doesn't when I read this, it doesn't scream I-35, but I do appreciate the recipe. Fried kolache dough with a divot in the middle for the filling. The filling is smoked beef brisket, and the barbecue glaze is made from, among other things, peach juice and Dr. Pepper. That kind of sounds good.
Maybe, yeah. Okay,
I'm not a big fan of peaches, but I think that has the potential of really tasting good.
Not a peach guy either, but I mean, the kolache dough got me. When you said kolache dough, I was like, you got me on that one.
So the last one, this is my favorite, the brisket brittle. Like regular old-fashioned peanut brittle, except that the peanuts are replaced with pieces of brisket.
Right.
So that's like peanut brittle with all the flavor of peanut brittle, but instead of peanuts inside there, you have brisket, pieces of brisket.
Oh, instead of like the solid hunks of peanut in the brittle, you've got solid hunks of beef brisket. That sounds legit.
That sounds really fucking awesome. Let's use one of those old slang terms. That sounds dope.
That's dope. That's fire.
That's fat. Or fat. Fire.
Fire.
So anyway, the State Fair of Texas opens up to the public at Fair Park in Dallas on September 24th. If you're in the area, come and get it. But yeah, Sin, that brisket brittle looks really good. Anyway, I think that's our show. I think we're done. So tune in Tuesday for Pop Culture Warrior when we have Dominic Burgess here. Actor Dominic Burgess will be on Pop Culture Warrior on Tuesday with Radar and CQ and talking about his recent series on Netflix called Dr. Death. Dominic has made appearances also in the Santa Clarita Diet, American Horror Story, The Rookie, Queen of the South, and many more. We have shows 4 days a week. Our hosts are on vacation, so we have 2 days a week right now. But normally you can catch us on Monday for the Monday edition, Tuesday for Pop Culture Warrior, Thursday for Sergeant's Time, and then Friday right here with me and Pookie for Friday Night Freedom. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. Hey, have a great Friday, man. Just thank you for spending your Friday with me and Pookie, and go out and have a good time. Be safe.
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. It's always cheaper. Don't beat your spouse.
Do not kick your dog. Please.
Don't kick dogs. We talked about pets. We talked about pets. Don't
drink and drive. Just take an Uber. It's so much cheaper. It's so much easier, and it'll save you so much money. Speaking from personal experience, do not drink and drive. Don't do it.
A DWI is going to cost you about $10,000, and Uber is going to cost you, I don't know, how much?
$20 maybe at the max, depending on how far you're going. So do the math.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And this is me and Pookie, and we're signing off, man. Thanks for being here.
This is WTF Nation Radio.